What if everything you've ever called reality is only the tip of something far greater, something invisible, yet powerful, constantly shaping your life without your awareness? The ancient mystics spoke of it not with science, but with silence. Yogis, shamans, and alchemists didn't just believe in energy, they commanded it, and when they did, their perception of the world changed forever. Let me ask you this. Have you ever walked into a room and felt something off, without anyone saying a word, or sensed someone staring at you, only to turn and find eyes locked on your back? That wasn't imagination. That was energy, and you noticed it. The real mystery is not whether this energy exists, but why so few know how to control it. The moment you begin to consciously engage with your energy field, feeling it, directing it, reshaping it, you are no longer a passive participant in your life. You become something else entirely, a co-creator, a sculptor of frequency, an initiator of the subtle realms. This shift is not symbolic. It's visceral. It's real. And once you've felt it, your body becomes the proof your mind can no longer deny. In this video, we will explore what truly happens when you learn to control your energy, not just in theory but in deep experiential practice. We'll uncover teachings buried in forgotten texts and traditions that once treated energy mastery as the first step towards spiritual power. We'll examine how energy moves through your body, how it responds to thought and intention, and how ancient schools of wisdom trained their initiates to awaken it with precision. But beyond the theory, you'll come to understand something even more profound. Why this ability was hidden, protected, and sometimes feared. Because when you learn to control your energy, you begin to transcend the boundaries of ordinary human experience and enter a space where creation itself listens and responds. This is not imagination. This is the beginning of inner mastery, and it all starts here. Long before electricity sparked through copper wires, before physics named invisible forces with numbers and equations, there were those who already knew. Life moves through energy. They didn't call it electromagnetism or bioplasma. They called it prana, chi, ka, ruach, orgone, odic force. Names whispered across temples, scrolls, pyramids, and firelit circles. These ancient cultures may have spoken different languages, but they described the same phenomenon, an invisible current that flows through all things, and within us. In Egypt, energy was not separate from spirit. It was spirit. The concept of Ka referred to the vital essence that animated the body. The Ka lived in the breath, in the blood, and in the very stance of a person. To be strong in Ka meant being energetically sovereign, protected and connected to divine intelligence. The pharaohs, it was believed, held immense Ka, and they underwent sacred rites to preserve and direct it consciously. In ancient China, the practice of Qigong and Tai Chi were never simply physical exercises. They were moving meditations designed to harness Qi, the universal life force. In these traditions, energy was cultivated through breath, posture, and intention. The body was seen as a vessel with meridians and points of flow, a living map of subtle anatomy, and when the flow was blocked, illness and imbalance followed. Meanwhile, in the Indian subcontinent, the yogic sages wrote of prana, the life force energy accessed through breathwork, mudras, mantras, and meditation. The pranamaya kosha, or energy body, was seen as an essential sheath of human existence, woven intricately into the chakras and nadis, subtle channels through which energy circulated like rivers of light. The awakening of Kundalini, a coiled serpent of raw potential energy, was seen as the apex of inner transformation. The Hermetic philosophers of ancient Alexandria and the alchemists of medieval Europe echoed similar truths, albeit veiled in metaphor. They spoke of the fire within, of spiritus mundi, and of transmutation, not just of lead into gold, but of base human experience into divine awareness. In their writings, controlling one's internal energy was synonymous with awakening latent powers and aligning with cosmic laws. Even in indigenous traditions around the world, from the shamans of the Andes to the medicine people of North America, energy was felt and known deeply. They might speak of power animals, spirit winds, or ancestral fire, but always with the same reverence for an invisible intelligence moving through space, land, body, and soul. The modern world has compartmentalized what the ancients saw as unified. Today we speak of biology, psychology, and spirituality, as if they were separate domains, but in the old ways there was no division. Controlling your energy was not a fringe practice. It was initiation. It meant understanding yourself not just as flesh and thought, but as a field of influence, a transmitter and receiver of vibration. So why was this knowledge guarded, encoded, and sometimes hidden? Perhaps because to truly master your energy is to step outside systems of control. A person who understands how to align their internal frequency becomes far less vulnerable to manipulation, be it mental, emotional, or societal. And for those in power, nothing is more dangerous than a sovereign soul. This is why learning to control your energy was once reserved for those who had proven their readiness, for the initiates who had crossed thresholds of discipline, silence, and inner clarity. It wasn't simply about power, it was about responsibility, because once you open the door to your inner current, you cannot close it. Controlling your energy is not something you accomplish in a single moment. It's a process of remembering, a return to a natural capacity that was always there, quietly waiting beneath the noise of modern life, and like tuning an ancient instrument covered in dust. The first steps are not about perfection, they are about reconnection. The first thing that happens is perception begins to shift, not in a dramatic or hallucinatory way, but subtly, almost imperceptibly at first. You begin to feel more, not emotionally, but sensorially. Your hands may tingle when you focus your attention between them. You might notice a magnetic pull, or a warm pressure radiating from your palms. This is not placebo. It is the awakening of somatic sensitivity, the body remembering how to listen to the subtle. Think of energy like water in a river. When the river flows freely, everything downstream is nourished, but if the river is blocked, stagnation sets in. The same is true in your body. When your energy is stagnant, emotions become heavy, thoughts spiral, and your physical health may even begin to decline. But when you begin learning to move that energy through intention, breath, and focus, you clear the riverbed, and suddenly, life flows again. At first, this movement feels fragile, like a breeze you're not sure you actually felt, but with practice it becomes unmistakable. You realize that your attention is the lever. Wherever your attention goes, energy follows. You begin to test this principle, holding awareness in your fingertips and feeling the warmth intensify, focusing on your chest and sensing a pulsing expansion. These are not imagined effects. They are the first signs of energetic control. But here lies the first paradox. Control doesn't mean force. In fact, the more you try to dominate energy with mental effort, the more elusive it becomes. Energy responds not to willpower alone, but to coherence. That is, the alignment between thought, emotion, and presence. When your mind is calm, your breath is steady, and your intention is clear, energy moves effortlessly, like wind through open trees. This is why so many ancient techniques begin with stillness, breathwork, and meditative focus. Because before you can direct energy, you must become quiet enough to feel it. Your nervous system is not just a biological mechanism. It is a bridge between your physical form and your energetic blueprint. And like tuning into a faint radio frequency, the channel becomes clearer the quieter you become inside. You may begin to notice changes outside of practice too. People react differently to your presence. Some feel drawn to you, others inexplicably avoid you. Your dreams become more vivid, your intuition sharpens. It's as if your entire system has entered a new frequency band, and in truth it has. And once you've had that first clear experience, once you've undeniably felt energy rise, pulse, expand, or move in direct response to your attention, something irreversible occurs. Your worldview shifts. The material no longer seems so solid. The idea that you are just a body with a brain begins to dissolve. You see, If you can move energy within yourself, what else might be possible? This is where the path begins to open wider. But to go further, one must understand what energy is not, and why many lose their way trying to control it. Energy is not a substance you possess like money or fuel. It's not something you generate in isolation. It is not obedient to ego, nor is it impressed by spiritual ambition. Rather, energy is relational. It flows in response to harmony or discord. It pulses in rhythm with your breath, your intention, and most importantly, your truth. Many people who begin this path are seduced by the idea of control. The word itself suggests power, mastery, perhaps even superiority. But the deeper you go, the more you realize true control of energy has nothing to do with domination, and everything to do with resonance. Energy cannot be commanded with force. It must be invited through attunement. This is why those who try to manipulate energy for egoic gain often find themselves destabilized. They mistake noise for power, but energy listens only to clarity. You may have heard of people forcing their energy through the body, pushing it up the spine, trying to awaken centers prematurely. Sometimes they experience short-term surges, intense heat, spasms, even visions. But just as often, they crash. Why? Because their system wasn't aligned, their vessel wasn't prepared. You can no more force an oak tree to bear fruit in winter than you can force your energy to flow before you're ready. Timing, balance, and inner integrity are everything. This is why ancient initiates trained for years before touching the deeper currents. They purified their thoughts, their emotions, and even their diets. Not because of dogma, but because the body is the instrument, and like any sacred tool, it must be tuned before it can channel higher frequencies without distortion. There's another truth, often overlooked. Your energy is not only yours. As you begin to control your internal current, you start to feel the energetic signatures of others. You walk into a crowded place and it's no longer noise. It's a field of signals. You speak to someone and sense their internal dissonance before they utter a word. You start to know things without knowing how you know them. This is not magic, it's energetic intelligence. An ancient awareness reawakened. But with that awareness comes responsibility. Because as your sensitivity increases, so does your influence. Your presence begins to affect spaces, people, outcomes. A single thought, if focused, can change the tone of a room. A breath, if conscious, can calm or excite another's nervous system. This is why spiritual masters often speak little, move slowly, and act with precision. They know their energy does not stay contained. It radiates, and here is where control becomes something far more profound. It is not merely the ability to feel or direct energy. It is the ability to remain centered in the midst of chaos, to hold your vibration in turbulent conditions, to become anchored in presence, so that your energy field becomes a stabilizing force for others. This is energetic sovereignty, not reactive, not defensive, but grounded, aware, and awake. You begin to realize that energy moves through everything: language, touch, silence, gaze. Even your thoughts carry a frequency that others can feel, consciously or not. And this brings you to a deeper level of refinement, not because someone told you to act a certain way, but because you feel the impact of your own vibration in real time. You become a mirror, a tuning fork, a beacon, and that's when you discover something even more mysterious. Energy not only flows within you, it begins to respond to you. Life becomes more fluid, synchronicities increase, internal clarity leads to external alignment. What once felt like coincidence now feels like orchestration. You speak and the world seems to listen. This is not the end of the path. It is only the threshold, because once you learn to control your energy, the question is no longer can you, but how will you use it? You do not need incense, crystals, or exotic rituals to begin. You need only one thing: presence. And from that presence, the doorway opens. Let's begin with the body, because it is the gateway. Sit comfortably. Bring your awareness to your hands. Do not try to feel anything. Simply observe. Now slowly bring your palms closer together until they're just a few inches apart. Hold them there. Still, without touching, let your breath slow down. Inhale gently through the nose and exhale slowly through the mouth. Do this a few times. Soon you may begin to notice something. Heat, tingling, pressure, magnetic resistance. Subtle at first, but undeniably there. That is energy, not imagination, not suggestion. It is your first tactile experience of the field that exists within and around you. From here, the key is consistency. Set aside 5 to 10 minutes a day to do this practice. Each time, bring more presence. You can begin to move your hands in slow, circular motions, feeling how the energy shifts with your motion. You can play with it, expanding and contracting the space between your hands. Some describe it as feeling like a soft balloon, or a magnetic push and pull. Trust your sensations. Next, begin to link breath with attention. As you inhale, imagine drawing energy up from the earth into your spine. As you exhale, send that energy out through your palms. Visualization here is not fantasy. It's instruction. Your body listens to images and emotions more than it does to words. Use this to guide the flow. A powerful practice is called energy sweeping. Sit or stand still. Bring your awareness to the top of your head. Slowly move your attention down through your face, neck, shoulders, chest, arms, all the way to your feet. As you do this, imagine you're gently clearing stuck or heavy energy like brushing dust from an ancient mirror. You may begin to feel lighter, more alert, more present. That's not psychological, it's energetic release. You can also begin to sense energy in others, but this must be done with care. Do not scan or intrude on someone's field without permission. Instead, become a silent observer. When you speak to someone, notice how your own state shifts. Are you drained after certain interactions? Energized after others? These are signals worth tracking. As you deepen your practice, you may encounter resistance, moments where you feel nothing, or times when energy feels chaotic or stuck. This is natural. Energy moves in layers. Sometimes what you're feeling is not just the surface tension, but emotional residue stored in the body. Be patient. Let the breath guide you back to center. One powerful way to stabilize your field is through grounding. Walk barefoot on earth. Sit with your back against a tree. Visualize roots growing from the soles of your feet deep into the earth's core. Let the heaviness drain downward and the stability rise upward. A grounded person becomes an anchor not only for themselves, but for others. As you continue, you'll start to recognize the difference between being in your energy and being scattered, between being centered and being hijacked by thoughts or external stimuli. This is where real change begins, not through effort, but through awareness. And finally, honor the process. You are not just learning a technique. You are reawakening an ancient sense that your ancestors once lived by. Every time you tune into your energy, you are crossing a threshold from forgetting to remembering. Once you learn to control your energy, the world no longer feels random. Every interaction, every emotion, every coincidence becomes a reflection of your inner frequency, and what once felt like chaos begins to reveal itself as a hidden order. One that was always there, waiting for you to see. You begin to walk differently. You speak with more presence. You breathe as if you're part of something larger. And you are, because energy is not just what flows through you. It is what connects you to all things. The tree outside your window, the stranger who locks eyes with you, the storm before it arrives. Everything vibrates. And now, so do you. But this is only the beginning. The ability to feel and guide your energy is a threshold, not a destination. Beyond it lie deeper mysteries of healing, creation, intuition, and alignment. And each step you take into that space awakens something ancient within you. A remembrance, a quiet knowing, a return. So if you've felt even the slightest pulse of energy between your hands, if your breath has ever brought you into a moment of stillness where everything felt connected, then you've already begun. Don't chase power. Don't seek control. Instead, listen, observe, cultivate awareness like a sacred flame. Because the deeper truth is this: when you learn to control your energy, you're not controlling something outside of you. You're learning to live in harmony with your own essence. And that is the most profound mastery of all. If this message resonated with you, take time today, just a few minutes, to return to that inner silence and feel your own presence. That's where the work begins. That's where the energy lives. And that's where you remember who you really are.